Aaron Schatz wrote at ESPN.com. I saw Peter Schrager chatting about it a little bit.
I like Aaron. Aaron's good people.
Okay. I don't know Aaron, but I know Peter, and I love Peter's work. They were doing underrated players by position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, interior offensive line, defensive tackle, edge rusher, linebacker, cornerback, safety, and special teamer. So each of those positions, who's the most underrated player at that position? You know, they picked for quarterback, most underrated quarterback in the NFL, according to your boy Aaron
Schatz. Okay, most underrated quarterback, huh? AFC or NFC? Just give me a hint.
NFC.
NFC. Okay. Jordan Love. That seems like a guy that could be underrated.
That's a very good guess.
Okay. All right. Who they got?
It's the San Francisco 49er quarterback,
Oh.
Brock Purdy. Underrated. People just love Kyle
Wait,
Shanahan.
there's more with Brock Purdy?
There's more. Brock Purdy, yeah.
There's more. More Toyotas? Or more what?
$256 million bucks, and I saw an article like, did a team-friendly deal so the guys can. I'm like, he's Brock Purdy, and he's got $256 million, and no team-friendly nothing on that.
When I was at the Shrine game talking to Brock Purdy for an hour, he was going to sell insurance.
Yeah, not anymore. He's set for life.
Yeah.
$256 million for Brock Purdy. It's the same group that drafted Trey Lance too. Are we sure these guys are so smart out there in San Francisco? The most underrated running back was Chuba Hubbard in Carolina, and he's a solid player. Most underrated wide receiver, Darius Slayton, New York Giants. Most underrated tight end, I feel like you're going to have a problem with this.
Okay.
Zach Ertz. Is Zach Ertz the most underrated tight end in the NFL?
What? Underrated?
You know who comes to my mind? Isaiah Likely. You want to talk about underrated?
Yeah.
That guy could start on 31 other NFL teams.
Exactly. He just happens to be in Baltimore. Yeah, Zach Ertz, underrated. How so? I mean, he's a veteran. He brings a lot to the field, but he's also 100 years old. Again, part of my problem with what the Commanders have done around Jaden Daniels is they haven't done what the Broncos have done around Bo Nix. Where's the youth? Where's the talent? You know, and I know they drafted Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, my guy, in the 7th round. But still, Brian Robinson's not young anymore. Austin Eckler certainly not young NFL-wise. Like, all right, Terry McLaurin, older. Where's the youth to grow with Jaden? And Zach Ertz is, seasoned veteran, playing 10 years, whatever the number is. So that's an odd choice by Aaron.
Yeah, very strange. All right, so we go to offensive tackle here. They do interior offensive linemen and tackles as well. The most underrated offensive tackle in the entire NFL, according to ESPN. It's Garett Bolles. Garett Bolles. And what they write about GB is after struggling early in his career, the 2017 first-round pick has developed into one of the top left tackles in the league. Bolles is still waiting for his first Pro Bowl nod, but was 7th among tackles in pass block win rate last season, 93.4%, 13th in 2023 at 91.6%. Bolles anchors a Broncos line that finished number 1 in run block win rate in 2024. FTN data also had him 7th in left tackle in the rate of pressures allowed. His only problem might be the flags, as he was 5th among linemen last season with 15 holding penalties. That includes declined or offsetting penalties. So we know holding number 72, it's a thing here in Colorado, but he's even gotten better at that. And then you talk about these numbers along with the other 4 dudes that are sitting there on the offensive line with him. I think ESPN nailed this. Garett Bolles is the most underrated offensive lineman in the league.
Yeah, and good thing you got him wrapped up because Garett Bolles, what a career that he's had from first-round pick to looks like a bust to, oh, my God, one of the best left tackles in the league.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it's great. It's great for him. It's great for this team. And you're going to have to think about the future. I think you always need to be ready with that next guy on the come-up. Now, who could that be for this team? Is it already Frank Crum? Do they see the Wyoming product as a guy that they can develop further? We'll have to put eyes on him this year and see how that's going for this squad. But I think center is a low-key conversation we're not having right now. I think left guard with Ben Powers with 1 year left on his deal is not a conversation we're having right now. Alex Forsythe can do one of those. It's center or guard, but that's it, one.
Is he as good as Ben Powers as a guard? Ben Powers is okay to me.
Yeah, and Forsythe would be okay. I'd see him more as a center, but I know that Wattenberg gets a lot of hate out there. We're not exactly sure why, but there's a lot of fans that are like, get rid of Wattenberg. I'm like, all right, but Lloyd Cushenberry was struggling until his final year. It just takes a while with center. So I think the offensive line is great now, but that's why you make your run now. You have a window now with this offensive line, and you've got to take it because Bolles isn't going to play forever. Powers might be gone next year, and hell, Wattenberg might be gone next year as well, based on these contracts and just where these players are at.
All right, well, there's one other Bronco on this list. Again, ESPN telling us who the most underrated players are at each position. And now we go to the defensive side of the football and the interior defensive line, and it's the same name we talked about a week ago. It's Zach Allen. Now a different outlet calling Zach Allen not the most underrated player on the Broncos, the most underrated interior defensive lineman in the entire league. And they say, hey, even though he was chosen as a second-team All-Pro, I'm not sure most fans outside of Denver realize just how good Allen was in 2024. Plays a 5 technique, defensive end in Denver's 3-4 scheme, and was key for the Broncos unit. He dominated, which in the sum of big defensive plays, turnovers, tackles for loss, and tackles/passes defended on third or fourth down, Allen's 25 defeats tied for second among interior defensive linemen with Steelers' Cam Hayward, and was just one behind Seahawks' Leonard Williams there. So they look at him as a huge piece, and he wins his run battles 89% of the time.
Whoa. Well, I look at it as a huge contract that's coming up for Zach Allen. When is that? Do you dare risk franchise tagging him? You have to pay Zach Allen, Cortland Sutton, Nick Benito. What order? Who gets paid? Who gets franchise tagged? I believe that in 2025, 2026, essentially, the franchise tag will be used. It will be used. Okay. I just don't know who it's on.
Either Zach Allen or Nick Benito.
Yeah, one of those two. I don't think Cortland. It's probably not the greatest to franchise tag a wide receiver at that price level, but it's roughly $25 million for the franchise tag for defensive linemen or for edge guys. So are you going to risk it with Allen, an older player, and then pay Benito? Or are you going to pay Allen, the veteran, and then risk it with the young pass rusher, Nick Benito?
Both make me nervous.
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah. And by the way, 36 pressures for Zach Allen. Only Chris Jones had more than Zach Allen. Chris Jones. We know him. He gets paid.
Yeah.
That's a good company to keep if you are one Zach Allen. So Garett Bolles and Zach Allen, according to ESPN, they do not get the love that they should based off the performance that they put forth.
I hate when, not you specifically, but I hate when Chris Jones is brought up.
Why? Because he's so damn good.
When I mocked the Denver Broncos in that year's draft, because, you're the Paxton guy. My mock for the first round at pick 31, because the New England got their pick taken away, was Chris Jones to the Denver Broncos. My second round pick in my mock was Dak Prescott.
That would have been a pretty good draft, huh? Would have been a pretty good draft that
I'm just
year.
saying.
That would have been nice. Well, they got Zach Allen. He's the second best thing, literally, against Chris Jones. So Broncos are sitting pretty with some players that are underrated across the